What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Surprise Jab. Yes, I'm your host, Zach Kruger, spices new topics every single weekend, jabbing you with your daily dose of UFC, and we're back. Another UFC event has came and went, and we did better than the last 2 weeks. We went 9-4 on predictions. Now, none of our parlays really hit. Actually, I think our locks did hit, but I unfortunately then threw it all in the main event, and I did not predict another main event right. So far, 0-3 in 2025 on main events. Not what we want to be, but it's okay, because we did predict the Super Bowl correctly as the Seahawks defeated the Patriots. I'll be giving my thoughts on Super Bowl 60 and everything surrounding the Super Bowl in general. Commercials, halftime show, all the shebang. And as well, we're actually going to be kicking things off with a movie review. Yet again, I impulse went to the movies this past weekend. I will not be doing that for the next rest of the month, but I've seen two movies I was actually very intrigued to see, and this animated movie that I saw, which I'm actually going to start off today by reviewing, caught me very off guard. So that's what we'll kick today's episode off with. But guys, it's a Monday. We're getting it going. We're getting the week started. I have this Friday off as I'm heading back to Minnesota to see my girlfriend, which is going to be very fun. It's going to be nice to not work on a Friday, because I'm starting to realize that it's not fun to work Monday through Friday, especially when I at times know I have my true potential and that I'm built for much more. But anyways, that's a conversation for another time, because we have stuff to talk about. First up on the docket today, and I guess it's your surprise of the episode, your official movie review of Zootopia 2. That's right. I got around to seeing Zootopia 2. I went to Hollywood Boulevard Theater here in, I think it's either Darien or Willowbrook, Illinois, right along the border there, and it was good. Very good movie. It gets a 9 out of 10. You know, I rarely see animated movies anymore, but this one really caught me off guard, and Rotten Tomatoes agrees 91%. It was good. Very, very good movie, and the cast for this was insane. I mean, you have Shakira, Macaulay Culkin, Patrick Warburton, Ke-Huy Quan, Robert Irwin was in this, Fortune Femister, you'd recognize her. You have Andy Samberg in this. You have so many. Ed Sheeran was in this. Danny Trejo. It was littered with people, and of course, Jason Bateman is the star of the show. If you didn't actually know as well, CM Punk and Roman Reigns voiced some characters in this film, which I found absolutely hilarious that they were in this. But yeah, even Idris Elba is in this. The cast for this is insane. Josh Gad. The more I read, Alan Tudyk. The more I read, the more I realize how many people are in this, even more than I thought there were. So just a crazy cast. And Zootopia 2 following up to one of the best animated movies, Zootopia, which came out a whopping 10 years ago. Isn't that crazy? But Wikipedia, we're pulling this up here. Zootopia 2 has made $1.8 billion worldwide on a $150 million budget. So safe to say Zootopia is going to be a franchise for a long time to come. But yeah, very good. The entire plot of the movie is this kind of follows up the first film. Now Judy and Nick Wilde, they're both the fox and the rabbit. They're both now actual detectives, and they're trying to solve cases, and they basically get in the doghouse as they aren't good partners, and they have to solve a new case, and that follows the film, and there's good plot twists in this. I think that it borderlines the realms of comedy, action, drama, suspense, thriller, all into one animated film, which is just something so unique, which you don't see a lot of days, where you actually have a good plot. The stakes were all right. Okay, I will say the one thing I was thinking is the stakes weren't that high, but it does kind of follow like this evil, family basically trying to control everything. I'm sure there's some underlining meaning here or something. But Zootopia 2, very good. The ending was spot on, and I really liked the world building, how it's like all these animals live in conjunction in this area, and I thought it was great. And it just worked. It was fun, and you then kind of get this weird, I don't even know what it is, this chemistry between the two leads here. Of course, the voice of Judy Hopps, Jennifer Goodwin, and Jason Bateman as Nick Wilde. And I just can't tell if they're just like best of friends, like siblings, or if they're like more than that. I really can't tell if we're just building tension between these two, or if there's like something more going on there. I generally don't have no idea. They're basically saying like, I love you. Like, it was emotional. It was very good, but I can't tell the relationship between those two. I think it's more so like partners, as in like, just like best of friends. But at times I wonder if they're going to have those two hook up. I don't know. Not literally hook up, but, well, actually, who knows with these studios nowadays. But anyways, we actually get to go to a end credit scene, and basically I think they're teasing another version or another villain, actually, I was going to say, of Zootopia 3, because a feather landed on Judy Hopps' windowsill, and I think they're going to try and do another film. So hopefully it doesn't take that long. I'm sure I could even Google right now. Actually, we're going to probably do that in a second if Zootopia 3 is greenlit. But this was fantastic. I mean, it really was. 108 minutes, and the pacing goes by pretty good. And they, like I said, with the world building here, is that like you're so many places at once, and yet you're still able to loop it all back together in the end. So fantastic stuff. Really like that. So let's really check out if Zootopia 3 is green lit. Let's check this out. Zootopia 3. Will there be a Zootopia 3? Oh, let's check Forbes for that. Is Forbes a reliable source here? I'm hoping so. I would like to think so. It's not a question of whether Zootopia 3 will be greenlit, but more of when. So, how about that? Well, they could do a Zootopia 3 immediately. I mean, why not? Why not? I think you could definitely do it, but it's looking like I can't really see anything on this website here. Forbes is very laggy. So maybe, see you in the 2030s for Zootopia 3. Well, never mind. We're never getting Zootopia 3 soon. I guess we'll just have to treasure Zootopia 2 for now. But it's worth a rewatch. In fact, I would probably rewatch both films at once, honestly. I would watch them back to back. That's how freaking good they are. So, Zootopia 2 gets a 9 out of 10 on the Zachary Ruger, the Surprise Jeb podcast rating scale. I recommend it. I really did. Take your girlfriend, take your boyfriend, take yourself. I go to the movies by myself all the time. Why? Because I love movies, and I'm an only child, and I'm not scared to be alone. And this movie theater actually brought me wings and root beer. It was awesome, except it was $25, but the movie ticket was $5. I see how they get you. I also see how the Super Bowl gets you with convincing us this was going to be a fun game. Little did we know it would not be. Exciting, everyone, as Super Bowl 60 was a letdown. And you could be a Debbie Downer and point out all the negatives, but the one positive I will point out is that the Seattle Seahawks were the best team in the NFL this year, and they cruised their way to a victory. I mean, the game started off, for goodness sakes, 19-0, and then finally we were able to get the Patriots to score, and then it was too little too late. Now, you're going to see these final stats here, okay? Sam Darnold, 202 yards and a touchdown. Drake May, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Drake May did not have over 100 yards until the fourth quarter. Okay, that boy did not light anything up. Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson couldn't do anything. Drake May, 5 carries, 37 yards. Leading wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, irrelevant. Kendrick Boutte, irrelevant. And you have Matt Collins, 4 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. He's the leading wide receiver there. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he was locked up this game. It's actually Cooper Kupp, 6 catches for 61 yards. That gets it done. And as for Kenneth Walker, your Super Bowl MVP, 135 yards on the ground. He had over half, or almost half, of the team's total yardage. So congrats to our boy, Kenneth Walker, on getting it done. But the real MVP here was Jason Myers, who scored the first 12 points of the Super Bowl. I mean, for goodness sakes, what was everyone else doing? I have no idea. Going into halftime, it was 9-0, and I'm like, the Patriots are just doing an awful job. I mean, they had like 50 yards going into half. Finally, they lit it up in the fourth quarter. Shout out everyone who got a touchdown. You had A.J. Barner catching a 16-yarder, Matt Collins with a 35-yarder. You had Devin Witherspoon causing a disruption, and Nwosu intercepted it was like a 45-yard pick six. So Seahawks defense getting a pick six, which was awesome, and then Ramondre Stevenson had a little 7-yard catch to end the game. But total yards, don't be dismayed by this. 335 for the Seahawks, 331 for the Patriots. Almost 300 that came in the final quarter of the game. So I guess when we look at it, at the end of the day, the Patriots had a lot of stats, but it was too little too late. They were legit never in this game. I mean, it was embarrassing. It really was, and you have no one really to blame except for the offense of the Patriots. The Patriots defense did everything they could, but when you're just constantly out there, it was getting exhausting for them. I mean, it really was, and hey, it's just how it goes. Now, I will say the sacks were a very big difference maker in this one. We had 5 or maybe 6. I think it was 6 sacks in the Super Bowl this year, which was utterly crazy. You had interceptions, you had fumbles. It was turnover city for the Patriots. And the Patriots, up until the fourth quarter, were about to be the worst Super Bowl team in history, and that they somehow rallied. And still, it's probably going to be that Los Angeles Rams team from 2018 or 2019, whatever that was. I still think that's probably the worst when we statistically look at it, because if you look at the worst Super Bowl teams, it's going to be the teams that score the least amount of points, and the Patriots are on track for that, but somehow rallied with time left. Now, the biggest winner of the Super Bowl was my grandfather. He won $1,400 on the squares game, where you pick squares and it's, the final score at the end of each quarter. So shout out to him. And as for everything around the Super Bowl, presentation, it was good. SoFi Stadium was good. Commercials were so lame. There was only one good commercial. It was the Budweiser commercial with an eagle and a horse. That was freaking awesome. Loved that. You also had a, controversy with the Super Bowl halftime shows. There was an alternate halftime show with Turning Point USA. 6 million people tuned in. I actually listened to it on my ride home from watching the Super Bowl. It was just country music. That's all you missed. As for Bad Bunny, couldn't tell a word that he was saying. He was in the cane fields this whole time, then he was on top of a house, then he was on top of electrical poles, and it was all about unity. I had no freaking clue what was going on. I'm going to be honest, I could care less about a political statement at the Super Bowl when generally I have no idea what he's saying or what the message is. Alrighty? Every Republican's going to say they hate it. Every Democrat's going to say they love it. Here's me just going, I don't know any words he said. His one song, El Champea, I didn't even hear. He didn't sing the one song I know, and apparently his most popular song, he didn't even sing. So, kind of just a boring fest. The only thing that made it fun was watch it with my family. My Uncle Gary, he cooked up some mean cheesesteaks, I think they were, some buffalo wings. It was delicious. He is one of the best cooks I've ever had in my life. He's amazing. And, the experience with my family was probably the biggest takeaway I'll have from this, because other than that, there was little to no excitement. We didn't get touchdowns until the fourth quarter. And at the end of the day, this didn't even feel like the Super Bowl. I know it was a big game, but I don't know if it's just because we have been so used to seeing the Chiefs, 49ers, Eagles, that seeing the Seahawks and Pats just felt different. But I don't know. Something up with this just didn't feel the same. And, shout out to the Seahawks for getting it done. But, I just hope for an exciting team next year. And unfortunately, there's a direct correlation between the not the most, underdog exciting team making it, always the most complete team. And the Seahawks were a complete team this year. Best defense, really solid offense, and shout out Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP. Shout out Sam Darnold for winning a Super Bowl. Jackson Smith then Jigba getting a Super Bowl, and the Seahawks defense, best defense this year, definitely deserved it. So congrats to the Seahawks. Patriots, as much as I want to hate on you, you won the AFC, but just realistically this year, the NFC was way better than the AFC. So back to the drawing board. See you guys next year when the Vikings make the Super Bowl. You heard it here first. Minnesota Vikings, 2027 Super Bowl champions. But let's go and check out UFC Vegas 113. The excitement was there. I was able to catch a majority of these fights, and any I didn't catch, I went back and rewatched, because that's what I do. So we went 9-4, and you always know it's a good day when your first fight of the night cracks your entire parlay, and that was Claudia Segula versus Priscilla Cachoeira in the women's bantamweight division. And safe to say, I guess Claudia Segula is legit now. Put her in at number 15 in the women's bantamweight rankings, because she absolutely brought it to Priscilla Cachoeira. Wins all rounds on every judge's scorecard except for one, and had 151 significant strikes to 99. She did a great job. Defended the one takedown Priscilla Cachoeira threw at her. And honestly, round one, 61 significant strikes to 34. She did a great job. But at the end of the day, Priscilla Cachoeira, her heart just wasn't in it whatsoever. This is now 2 straight losses for her, 1-4 in her last 5, and she is 3-6 in her last 9. So Priscilla Cachoeira probably going to get cut. She's 13-8 in the UFC, and her UFC record is 5-8. So if they want to keep Priscilla Cachoeira, feed her to someone coming off of the Contender Series or Road to the UFC, but other than that, her time here is done. Now, as for Claudia Segula, 27 years young, still killing it. She's now 2-1 in the UFC and is on a 2-fight winning streak, and I like her odds. She's going to fight up in the women's bantamweight rankings, her next fight. Now, who's that going to be? It could be Luiana Santos at 15. It could be Miesha Tate at 13. I really like a Miesha Tate fight. I'm going to be honest. I think Claudia Segula and Miesha Tate match up perfectly. It could even be Mayra Bueno Silva, for all I care. But Claudia Segula, she was the favorite. She got it done. And honestly, happy for her. Bringing the pride to Poland, good work. So Claudia Segula against someone in the bottom 15 at women's bantamweight. And for Priscilla Cachoeira, I mean, legit probably getting cut. Like, there's just no point in her being in the UFC. She's kind of cracked. So, next up, men's bantamweight division, a very exciting fight here. Jacob Wickelax and Muin Gafurev. And this was a very weird fight. It really was, because I'm going to take you through the fight. So, starting it off, Jacob Wickelax just throws himself at Muin Gafurev. You know, he's putting the pressure up on him. He's striking. They have the same number of significant strikes at the end of round one, 27 apiece. Muin is defended on 2 takedowns, you know, pretty close. Round 2, Jacob manages to reverse a takedown into a submission attempt and control the entire round. So, Jacob controls the entire round, is getting it done. And then round 3, Muin Gafurev is beating him. Okay, 50 CMN strikes to 22. He might be winning the fight even. We don't know. And then, with the final 10 seconds coming in, Jacob locks in a guillotine choke from the bottom guard, and with 1 second left, Muin Gafurev starts to tap, and even a second after the bell was brutally tapping. So, shout out Jacob Wickelax, performance bonus, 11th career submission. He improves to 18-3-2. Good work for this guy, 2-0 in the UFC, and as for Muin Gafurev, bye-bye. Bye-bye, 2-3 in the UFC, and you just tapped with a second left. Yeah, buddy, you're done for. Unless they want to have him face freaking, I don't know, someone on the come up. Who's a rising contender in the men's bantamweight division that he could take on? I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea. I really don't. What about Colby Thicknees? Colby Thicknees versus who the frick was I saying? Colby Thicknees versus Muin Gafurev. There's a bantamweight fight for you, but man, Jacob Wickelax, I like this kid. I like him. His submission game is crafty, slick submission to do it. And when you get a submission with a second left, you're going to get a little notoriety. So shout out to Jacob. I don't know who you're going to face, my guy. There is unlimited people at bantamweight. If it's up to me, I'm going to matchmake on the same card. And we got some stuff to work with here. And Gene Matsumoto lost another close split decision. I think you two would put on a grappling masterpiece. So give me Gene Matsumoto versus Jacob Wickelax. Nice and fun, nice and easy. And for Muin Gafurev, he can take on Colby Thicknees. There's a random men's bantamweight for him to fight. Next up, catch weight matchup as Wang Kong takes on Eduarda Mora. And Wang Kong, you missed weight. What are you doing? But she did dominate Eduarda Mora. I mean, did really good here. Round 1, thought she was going to knock her out, but somehow Mora survives, grapples her way to round 2, winning the round, and then round 3, Wang Kong is able to keep it on the feet, defend 6 takedowns, attempts of submission, and walks away with a unanimous decision victory. So make that 3 straight wins for Wang Kong. She is now not lost since November of 2024. And as for what's next, I mean, I guess a top 10 opponent. I don't really know who. I'm thinking Karine Silva or Tracy Cortez, maybe even Miranda Maverick, but shout out Wang Kong, getting it done. Good freaking work. And as for Eduarda Mora, tough defeat, Eduarda. Not the best look here, but she'll bounce back. You know, she can take on Gabriela Fernandez, in my opinion. She's taking on Casey O'Neill at the end of March, and whoever loses that can take on Eduarda Mora. Maybe even J.J. Aldrich can take on Eduarda Mora. But I'm more so interested in seeing the rise of Wang Kong, you know, because I like a Miranda Maverick fight. Good test for her. And, you know, I always think you could throw her in there with Tracy Cortez and Karine Silva, but she keeps winning, yet looking awkward in the process. So at some point, we're going to have to boost her up. But for now, I mean, honestly, give her someone in the bottom top 10. I feel like that's the right move for Wang Kong. Gets it done. Good stuff. At the end of the day, decision women's fight. Next up, Javid Bashrat taking on Giniani Vaquez. Giniani Vaquez stepping down short notice for Said Nurmagomedov, robbing us of a Said Nurmagomedov fight. But the one thing I want to note here is that Javid Bashrat should have finished this guy. He really should have. And to make matters worse, he probably lost round 2 to him as well, which is just not a good look whatsoever. So shout out Javid Bashrat for getting it done, but more so Gianni Vaquez stepping in short notice. You know, Kryptonia is his nickname or something. He's going to stay in the UFC. You know, he can get a fight with someone like Victor. Is Victor Henry still in the UFC? I think Victor Henry is still in the UFC. That feels just like a right fight, Victor Henry versus Gianni Viquez. But Javid Basharat, big bounce back win for the guy. All right, on a 2-fight losing streak. He hadn't actually won in 3 years. This is exactly what he needed. So back right on track. I like it, Javid Basharat. I think Javid versus Jacob Wickelox could also be another fight. By the way, the Wickelox, it's a Polish last name. That's why I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But hey, shout out Javid, getting it done. Your brother had a more impressive performance, but you still won, Javid. You still got it done. So thumbs up to you. And for Gianni Viquez, yeah, we'll give you another shot in the UFC. I mean, how old is Gianni Viquez? He's 32 this year. So, okay, he's still got some prime left. But, yeah, Javid, 59, 7 strikes, 24, 3 takedowns, a knockdown. He outclassed Gianni. But narrowly might have lost round 2. Do just want to throw that out there so that people can say that. Next up, we clearly just didn't know women's ball this time around as Ketlin Souza defeats Bruna Brazil, 29-28. Starting off the fight, Bruna Brazil is looking good. She lands a takedown, and it's then reversed, and Ketlin Souza takes control. Round 2 comes around, and the same thing happens. And then round 3, the same thing happens. And she outstrikes her, not really by 1, 65-64. Technically, Ketlin Souza landed 1 of 8 takedowns for 8 minutes of control time. I don't know. This was a boring fight. There was nothing exciting here. Shout out Ketlin Souza for winning. I mean, I don't know if she's going to get ranked. Maybe though. I think she probably has a date with, but she already lost to Angela Hill. I don't even know what you do with Ketlin Souza, if I'm being honest. You could have her fight. Oh my gosh. What do you do with her? I don't know. Loma Lookboonmee just lost to Alexa Thanera. Yeah, Loma Lookboonmee versus Ketlin Souza. Let's run that. And for Bruna Brazil, she can take on Piera Rodriguez. There you go. There's some fights for you to do. But quite literally, guys, nothing happened in this. It didn't really move the needle. I mean, Ketlin Souza picking up her 3rd UFC win. Good for her. She went 0-2 in 2025, so very deserving of this. But Bruna Brazil probably should have won this. And she's been win-loss since joining the UFC. She's 3-4 now, so I think her next fight's going to be make or break for her. Just want to throw that out there so people are aware of that. Next up, men's welterweight division as Nikola Verkaninov took on Nico Price. And, shout out Nico Price. He took this fight. Nico Price stepped in when no one else would step in. He was the hero that we didn't deserve. And unfortunately, he was brutally knocked out in 1 minute and 42 seconds. I mean, holy cow, retire. There is nothing left for Nico Price to do in MMA. My boy is 16-10. My boy is 1-5 in his last 6. My boy is 2-7 with a no contest in his last 10. And he hasn't won a fight in 2 years. And he's on a 3-fight losing streak. So Nico Price, please retire, because he was just getting brutally beat down here. I mean, this knockout and the Dustin Jacoby knockout are 2 knockouts of this card, both just vicious on the cage shots. And Nikolai he just has like a red dot. He has aim assist on, just pounding into the jaw, into the skull of Nico Price. Those final 2 shots, like he's out on his feet and he's just like slumped against the cage, still standing up. He's out. And I mean, thank goodness that Tanyoni stepped in when he did, because it was looking brutal. But Nikola Verkaninov, way to stay in the UFC. I mean, this guy coming in here not doing good, but now he's 2-3. Now he's trending upwards. 14-7 record. They're going to give him another shot. All right, they definitely are. Now, he was supposed to fight someone. Who is he supposed to fight? If I'm trying to use the memory bank correctly here. Did I write this down? Oh, no. I lost my note sheet, guys. I don't know how I did it, but I misplaced my note sheet, so I don't know who he was originally supposed to fight. But he was really just supposed to fight someone that was of far less capacity than Nico Price. So whoever that was, let's have him fight that guy again, because clearly, he could use it. But another option could be in our next contest, as Daniel Danchenko takes it to Alex Morono and defeats him by unanimous decision. We even had 2 30-26 scorecards. I mean, this was crazy. We had a ridiculous amount of headshots for or not headshots, leg kicks for Daniel Danchenko. 34% of his significant strikes were leg kicks, as he outstrikes him 100-40. Great work. He even dropped him in round number 1. This was a masterclass from Daniel Danchenko. And the fun thing is we saw the abilities with Rodrigo Cienciano, and here he just put it all on display. 14-2, win streak intact, and he's looking good. He really is. I mean, the kid is only in his late 20s. I see good potential with him. I really do. Now, you can give him to Nikola Verkhnidov, who we just mentioned, but I wonder if he has maybe a bit higher aspirations. I feel like him versus Kevin Holland could be a realistic fight. I feel like Daniil Danchenko versus Colby Covington could be a fun fight. It'll never happen, but I just want to throw the names out there. I really do like his odds of taking on tough competitors. And if you want to have him fight other up-and-comers, you could have him fight Jacoby Smith. If you want to have him fight someone like a Seung-Hook Choi, you could even have him fight Themba Gorimbo would be a good name, Jeremiah Wells. There's an unlimited amount of unranked welterweights for Daniil Danchenko to take on. And when I talk about our two Kazakhstan man and the Swede here, Daniil Danchenko, I see a lot of potential with him, and I really like him versus some higher level competition coming up here. For Alex Morono, this is now his 4th straight loss. He's also 1-5 in his last 6, and he hasn't won in almost 2 years. So Alex Morono, probably time to hang it up, my guy. Probably time. You're 35 now, turning 36 this year. I don't know what else you have left to fight. Maybe we run Alex Morono versus Nico Price. Have they fought yet? Let me look at that. When's the last time? Did these two ever square off in their careers? No. How about that? Well, there we go. Freaking Alex Morono versus Nico Price. Gosh, guys, let me tell you, neither of these guys should still be fighting the UFC. Maybe just retire, go off, and we'll see what happens to you. But, yeah, decent fight. Daniil Danchenko murdered him. Next up, you want to talk about actual murder. Dustin Jacoby, Julius Walker. Holy cow. Dustin Jacoby, dad. Killing it. Oh, my goodness. Now, Julius Walker, 3 of 6 on takedowns. Might have took round 1. I mean, really took it to the grappling, controlled half the round. On the feet, Dustin Jacoby was able to outstrike him 13-5 significantly. But once it got to round 2, Julius had no prayer. First takedown is defended. Next thing you know, the striking comes out, and he is just lighting him up. Red dot on him. 29 civil strikes to 2. Julius is on the run, and Dustin Jacoby's just clipping him. Eventually, he falls down, starts laying in him with some TKOs, and game over. Make that 3 straight wins, all by knockout for Dustin Jacoby. And funny enough, I predicted a round 2 knockout because I said, his last win in 2024 was a round 3 knockout. His only win in 2025 was a round 1 knockout. How about he gets a round 2 knockout? And son of a gun, he gets it done. And weirdly enough, guys, this knockout and the Nikola Verkhnidov, Nico Price knockout, both coming at the minute and 42-second marks. Now, obviously in rounds 1 and 2, but always weird when you see those number correlations. Dustin Jacoby, great work. Send him to the rankings. Honestly, give this guy a ranked shot. I don't care if it's Zhang Mingyang, Nikita Krylov, Johnny Walker, Alonzo Menifield. Get this guy a ranked opportunity. He has earned it. For Julius Walker, 1-2 in the UFC. Your only losses are to tough guys. I'm thinking Abdul Rahman Yakayev, okay? He is one of the hottest prospects coming into the light heavyweight division, and honestly, unfortunately, Julius, you're going to have to prove if you can still hang by taking on him. So, yeah, really, really fun stuff here. Always love seeing finishes on these Apex cards, and you can't beat that. Dustin Jacoby, Julius Walker, good job, Dustin. Julius, not looking too sharp. Next up, I thought this was going to be fight of the night, and it was one of the more entertaining ones, a split decision win for Farid Basharat over Jeet Matsumoto, and this was a battle of 2 of the youngest, hottest, up-and-coming men's bantamweights on the planet. I mean, these 2 were killing it. Really was. 80 significant strikes to 76 in favor of Farid. 111 total strikes to 95 in favor of Jeet. 7 of 11 on takedowns for Jeet for 4 minutes of control time. 40 seconds as well. And then as for Farid, 2 of 7 on takedowns for 2 minutes and 23 seconds of control time. I mean, you went to the bell and you were like, this should be a draw. I mean, it really should. Now, I don't know who even won each round. Okay, I'm going to give Farid rounds 1 and maybe round... This was just so back and forth, guys. I mean, I don't even know. All I'm going to tell you is that the fans won this one. This was a good fight to watch. But at the end of the day, Farid Basharat gets the split decision nod, using the striking, using the anti-grappling. And lo and behold, this is his 6th win in the UFC. He is now 15-0, and you can't deny him a ranked shot. Give him Montel Jackson at 15, Kyler Phillips at 14, or Rob Font at 13. That is what's next for Farid Basharat. For Jeet Matsumoto, like I said, I mean, the kid's good. I really see it, and as we talk about the 2 other good bantamweights on this card, Javid Basharat and Jacob Wickelox, you could match make those 3 together, and I think it would work as well. Now, I also like Gene Matsumoto versus maybe Raul Rosas Jr. If he wins his next fight, I really think that would be a fun fight. But man, Gene Matsumoto has lost 2 close split decisions so far in the UFC, and I think he just needs to rely more on his striking. He has lost his last 2 fights when he's landed 7 takedowns, and I just don't think he's a very convincing fighter when he's landing takedowns. He just hasn't been getting much control time, and Farid was able to, showcase more on the feet, and that's what got him the W. So this is a great grappling matchup. This is just 2 guys until the end of the 3rd round, until the end of the bell, pouring every ounce of power, of willingness into their fighting capacity, and it worked out really well. So shout out Farid Basharat getting it done. I'm excited to see you take on a top 15 guy in your next fight, and if you don't, I'm probably going to pick you to win, most certainly. So after that, we had our actual fight of the night, and it was so freaking good. Michael Olakajasek, Marc-Andre Barriault, just 2 unranked middleweights swinging for the fences. And I don't know what Marc-Andre Barriault's chin is made of, but that guy can just eat punches for days upon days and just never get knocked out. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. 140 significant strikes to 77, and he doesn't get dropped once. I mean, and this was vicious. This was vicious, guys. 47-19 in round 1, 41-33 in round 2, and 52-25 in round 3, all in favor of Michael Olakajasek. I mean, since moving to train with the Fighting Nerds, he's been a whole different fighter. He's been scary. He really has. The striking looked crisp, even mixed in a takedown, and he's been 3-0 since moving to the Fighting Nerds. So Michael Olakajasek, shout out to you. And when I look at this guy's losses in the UFC, it's to no one non-legit. It really isn't. Khalil Roundtree, Ovince St. Preux, Jimmy Crute, Dustin Jacoby, Kyle Barallo, Michelle Berra, Kevin Holland, Sharmagomedov. These are all legit UFC names, and those are the only guys that have beaten Michael Olakajasek. Gets another fight of the night bonus here. This time he is winning, and honestly, I don't know what to do next with him. I mean, I sense fun stuff ahead for Marc-Andre Barriault. Now, as a matter of who, I don't really, not Marc-Andre Barriault, for, what's his face? Michael Olakajasek. Michael Olakajasek has fun stuff coming ahead. Now, as for Andre Barriault, he's 36. He's 1-5 in his last 6, but he's had 2 fight of the nights, his last 2 fights. He lost them both, but they were fight of the night. I think we got to bring him back. We got to bring him back for at least one more fight, right? There's got to be one more fight left in him. I think Abus Magomedov could be a fun name to throw this guy at. I really like that. And as for who I want Michael Olakajasek to fight next at a fight night, let's go with Marvin Vettori. I think it's a great opportunity for Vettori to bounce back. It's a good opportunity to see if Michael Olakajasek can hang with some top-level guys. And honestly, I just like the matchmaking there. So let's run that. That's my prediction for what we should go with. And honestly, this was fight of the night. This was exciting. This was entertaining. And it really brought the people going, because I don't want to say that, Farid Basharat versus Gene Matsumoto wasn't entertaining, but as I said, it was a very good fight, but it was grappling, and this one was all striking, swinging for the fences, trying to take the guy's head off. That is what the people like more. So shout out Michael Olakajasek getting it done, another fight of the night. And then we got to a heavyweight fight. And the heavyweight division, it just continues to deprogress. It gets worse and worse and worse. And shout out to Alton Almeida for having, honestly, one of the most fighter builds I've ever seen. He has the build of a guy who should just massacre you. And for just being the biggest teddy bear in the world, I mean, this guy, you'd have thought he was giving a layup to Rizvan Kuniev to win this fight. I mean, for goodness sakes, this was such a winnable fight for Alton Almeida, and he just didn't know how to uncork it. He doesn't know how to not grapple. He doesn't know how to go in all on striking or something. He needs to change something. Goes 0 for 8 on takedowns. Rizvan Kuniev has 6.5 minutes in just the clinch on the cage. And 43 significant strikes to 31. Rizvan just packed up the strikes and got it done. I mean, Alton Almeida might have won round 3, but at the end of the day, Rizvan Kuniev was just more active. So Rizvan Kuniev somehow, lo and behold, with a 1-1 UFC record, is going to be ranked number 6 at men's heavyweight. I have no idea how. And Alton Almeida has already announced on Instagram today that he is moving down to light heavyweight. So there's a lot of fun options at light heavyweight. There's obviously Alexander Rakic, Nikita Krylov. I think you could even throw him in right there with a Jan Blachowicz. if I'm being honest. So I'm thinking Alton Almeida in for some big fights at light heavyweight, but at heavyweight, dude, just boring decision fights. I mean, draining the energy out of the crowd. His last 2 fights, just gotta go, bro. You gotta go. So in terms of what's next for Alton Almeida, someone next at light heavyweight. It could legit be anyone. It could be anyone in existence, okay? But my prediction, probably like an Alexander Rakic. Probably that. That's what I think would be pretty good. Now, in terms of Rizvan Kuniev, man, I don't know what to do with this guy. I mean, really, realistically, he's a big Russian who strikes. You got Sergey Pavlovich right in there at number 3. You got Waldo Cortez Acosta at 5. You even got Alexander Volkov at 2. You got a lot of options. In my opinion, let's have him fight Sergey Pavlovich or Waldo Cortez Acosta. Those fights just make sense. But, hey, can't even hate on Rizvan Kuniev. Clearly, he's legit. 13-3 now. But, yeah, just not an entertaining fight. Next up, this fight was entertaining to an extent, but it takes 2 to tango. And when it's just one guy piecing the other guy up, it's kind of hard to get a grip of what's going on. Now, I want to say, Ron McCarthy gave Amir Albazi one of these rounds, and it makes no sense because Kyoshi Horiguchi schooled him for all 3 rounds. 73 significant strikes to 16, 99 total strikes to 20, and defended all 7 takedowns he threw at him. I mean, he didn't land double-digit significant strikes in any single round. I have no clue what Ron McCarthy was doing, but he was trying to pull a screw job here, and it was just not working. Kyoshi Horiguchi, domination. 2-0 since returning to the UFC. His winning streak's at, I think, 6 fights now, maybe a bit less than that. But, yeah, I mean, he's legit. He is legit as ever, 35 years old and still schooling these youngins like Amir Albazi. He's going to be coming in here now ranked at number 6. I could even see him being moved up to number 5. And in terms of what's next to him, he's in the title shot territory now with Manel Kape and Tatsuro Taira. I don't necessarily know what to do with him, if I'm being honest. I think Manel Kape probably should get the title shot, and we have a great Japanese showdown between Tatsuro Taira, the future and the past, and Kyoshi Horiguchi. You could do it at Fight Night main event overseas in China, since I hear they might be going over there in May. I think that would be fantastic. I think that would be the greatest option that you could do if you were the UFC. Now, another option is you just give Kyoshi Horiguchi a title shot, because why the F not? I mean, he's an absolute beauty of a fighter, and he absolutely schooled him here. So great work to Kyoshi Horiguchi. Gets it done through the striking, and he's in title shot territory coming up here now. Amir Albazi is now 0-2 in his last 2 fights, and he hasn't won a fight in 3 years. So what do you do with him? Probably have to have him fight Alex Perez, maybe, I don't freaking know, Asuam Mabayev. Yeah, Asuam Mabayev versus Amir Albazi. I guess you can even cut the guy. I mean, honestly, how is he in here and Muhammad Mokaev isn't? That's what I want to know. So, Amir Albazi, you're getting bumped down in the rankings, easily to number 8 or 9 at the minimum. Dude, you got to lock in. So, I'm going to tell you, or else you're never going to win another fight in the UFC. Now, main event coming up here. I just did not realize that Vinicius Oliveira was not ready for Mario Bautista. I mean, Mario Bautista, probably one of the best performances of his entire career, his first UFC main event, and he utterly schools Vinicius Oliveira. Now, Mario did land a takedown in round 1 on the feet. It was leaning towards Vinicius, 6 significant strikes to 3. Same for round 2. It was looking good, but Vinicius just couldn't handle the grappling. 5 of 7 on takedowns for a under 10-minute fight. 5 minutes and 47 seconds of it was Mario Bautista in control, and he locked in the rear naked chokehold beautifully. He moved so quickly to take the back, and he moved with intention to get to submission, something we haven't seen from him in a while. And Mario Bautista stacking it up. Round 2 submission, gets a performance bonus in a main event here, and he was ranked at number 9, and honestly, throw him up to 7. Honestly, he deserves to be ranked at number 7 in the UFC. In terms of what's next for him, Corey Sandhagen or Song Yadong. Those are the only 2 names. I want to see him fighting either the number 4 or number 5 guy in the world, because clearly Mario Bautista is a very excellent fighter. He has 1 loss, all right, in his last 10 fights, and it's to Umar Nurmagomedov. That has to stand for something. Let me tell you that. So, dominant work by Mario Bautista. First win since June of 2025, which is pretty good if you ask me. So, good win for Mario, and first submission in 3 years. My boy, love it. As for Vinicius Oliveira, you just weren't ready. You weren't ready. Back to the drawing board. You were ranked at number 11, And when I look at this card, Farid Basharat, Gene Matsumoto, Javid Basharat, and Jacob Wicklocks, those are guys you'll have to take on. The Peyton Talbots of the world, the Kyler Phillips. You're just not ready for the top 10 guys. There's clearly a little gap there between anyone ranked at number 9 and up with Mario Batista and everyone ranked down with Dave Martinez, Montel Jackson, Vincius Oliveira, Rob Font, all those names. So thought too highly of Vincius, thought he would be an absolute killer, and instead Mario Bautista schooled him, took him back to the second grade, and honestly, not even mad at him for that. Mario, good work. I am very happy you were able to get it done. So shout out to Mario, good submission win, and our first finish of a main event here in 2026. So very happy to see that. In terms of the card overall, it was probably the weakest card of the year so far. Obviously, it was the first fight night of the year. It's also in the Apex, but when I look head to toe, we had just kind of a couple of boring decisions. Probably the of the prelims, every decision was just kind of there at the end of the day. Now, main card, we got it going with a big knockout, 2 entertaining fights, but, Rizvan Kuniev, Halton Almeida, and Kyoichi Origuchi and Realbazi just were not that entertaining. So we look ahead, we move on. UFC Vegas 113, we will leave in the past. But we're back now, 21-18 on predictions for the year. We're finally positive. Now, next time we speak, it will be February 21st in Houston, Texas. Well, not the next time you hear me speak, but the next time we're in the Octagon as Sean Strickland returns after a year hiatus to take on Anthony Hernandez. I absolutely love it. You also have Dan Ige, Marcos Alcasta, Sergey Spivak, Ante Delege, Jacoby Smith versus Chung Hyuk Ko, Zach Reese versus Michelle Pereira, Chidi Chukati versus Carlos Leal, Ode Osborne versus Olibe Idris. I mean, holy cow, this whole card front to bottom is actually insane. Somehow Juliana Miller's fighting on here. How the frick is she still in the UFC? But that's beside the point. A lot of exciting stuff coming up here, guys, especially with UFC Houston. But we're taking Valentine's Day weekend off. No UFC, which I guess is okay. Although I will greatly miss not being able to watch it, and it is what it is. So shout out to everyone for listening. I greatly appreciate it. I always love the support. I really do. I actually have a flag now. We have a Surprise Jet Podcast flag. I just got to learn how to record this so it's not all audio and I can actually escape the 9 to 5. We'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to become a master salesman right now, which is kind of fun. Kind of fun to do at the same time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I might catch you later in the week. I don't know if I'm going to make another video. I'll have to see. I can always conjure up some topics. But if this is the only one for the week, stay safe out there. Have a happy Valentine's Day weekend. And you already know what I'm going to say. I'll catch you next time on the Surprise Jab Podcast.